The idea that it concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose within the limits of the Supreme Court decision in Casey, number one. But even more, equally as profound is the rationale used. And it would mean that every other decision relating to the notion of privacy is thrown into question.
The president. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Coffee with Carlos. Carlos, we were talking about J.D. Vance winning in Ohio, which I think it's good if Trumpy far-right candidates, win, because Tim Ryan's already ahead in that race. And we just got to turn out. And he's pathetic. I mean, he's not just somebody that was a never Trumper. He called Trump Hitler. He's pathetic.
It's phony.
Yeah.
He's
I
so
think
phony,
people
man.
spot a phony. Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a guy we are the party of self-responsibility. You make your own choices. Like, hey, the Mexicans made my mommy take drugs.
Yeah.
Get out.
Right.
What a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
What a child.
By the way,
I'm sick
I
of
was saying,
children.
Yeah, I was saying that 70% of the American people want Roe v. Wade to stand. I was looking at 73%. Where are we here? 2 months after the Russia invasion, huge bipartisan majority support sanctions against Russia and the backing military and humanitarian support for Ukrainians, exactly what Biden is doing. In all, 73% say the U.S. is doing the right amount or too little to support Ukraine. At the same time, 72% oppose the U.S. taking direct military action. So, Carlos, that's our job between now and the midterms, is to do our own messaging. Because when you look at every issue, the American people are on Biden's side. I think it's such a loud noise machine on that side that, we have to keep struggling to get his accomplishments out, because I would think they're self-evident. Like 6.5% unemployment is 3.5% now. Are you kidding me? Like the best economy in 50 years. I mean, I'm losing track of, and by the way, gas prices are coming down. Inflation's coming down. I don't think, again, this is what they're concerned about. This is going to be, I think, the main driver of the midterms.
I think so. And even Manchin was supporting the candidate that's running against the Trump candidate in Virginia, saying that, hey, the infrastructure part of this bill was good. I signed that part. So as much as he's a coal yacht weasel, but at least he was able to say that, we have these accomplishments that Biden has done. The problem is people want perfection right away. They want the perfect Democratic candidate that would somehow take care of all the cheating and the lying that the Republicans do. That if we just pick the perfect candidate, everybody would rally around that. We wouldn't need more than 48 votes. It would somehow magically change the Republicans. We're multiplying by zero.
Yeah.
So we can't do it with 48. We can't even do it with 50. We need more.
Yes, Biden has said that. There's not Democrats in disarray. He said two Democrats have voted against what I need. What we need to do is get them more Democrats. Make Manchin and Sinema irrelevant. And in this case, Manchin was the only one that voted against the codifying Roe v. Wade that passed the House. Carlos, because clearly I am a giant racist, I saved the story about the Latino vote for you.
Vamos, Latinos, a votar.
Oh boy.
Have you seen this? A lot of places, the Democrat. I mean, and some of it is provably true. Latino vote has gone. They went more for Hillary than they did for Biden. I'm just curious your take on it. A series of recent polls indicate Latino voters are becoming more Republican ahead of the midterms. A Marist survey, again, this is just one, showed 52% support for GOP among Latinos, 39% for Democrats. One progressive writer voiced skepticism of the results of one poll, but the numbers are generally in line with a larger shift, Latino voters trending away from Democrats. So Biden was 8 points lower among Hispanics than Hillary was. Working class white voters and Hispanic voters tend to be more religious and less likely to identify as liberal, is what the pollster is saying. What's your take?
Religion, and unfortunately, in the Latino culture as well as many other cultures, there's that machismo thing, the alpha male kind of thing. Like Biden is too old; he doesn't have that. I like Trump because he's strong.
But he's such a racist.
There's a little bit of that going around.
He started
in our
his campaign on racism against Latinos, though. That's what I don't. Can you explain that to me?
I think it's like why people are attracted to people that harm them, in any relationship. It's like, why are you attracted to that person? I don't know what it is. It's just I grew up with it. I'm comfortable with it. I think there's a little bit of that. There's certainly religion that you mentioned.
But how do you start a campaign on Mexicans or rapists and somehow, the Latino vote? I don't. There does just seem to be a disconnect for me.
But I think religion plays a big part. It's like we are bound by that to think that men should be in control and a man is a certain type of a man. I think they imagine a buff Jesus, right? Man, Jesus was like doing curls in the gym, man. He's got tattoos.
Here's one thing I did think was interesting. Democrats were not responding to attacks on their candidates in Spanish language media, especially in places like Miami and South Texas. Republican ads calling Democrats socialists were particularly effective, the pollster was saying, in those areas.
The Cuban population.
Anyway, and he went on to say primarily manual blue-collar workers in comparison with primarily white-collar workers were even more drawn to candidates who stressed bread and butter issues and who avoided activist rhetoric. I do know I've heard this before. In fact, our good friend, future Senator Ruben Gallego.
Yes.
Gallego.
He's forbidden his staffers to use the term Latinx. And that does seem like progressive had promoted the use because the Latino only refers to Hispanic men. Only 4% of Hispanics prefer that term. So I do get that there is like I don't know, what do you even want to call that? I guess they're calling it activist rhetoric or whatever. But in terms of bread and butter issues, Carlos, clearly the Democratic Party is much better. How do we get that message across to that voting bloc?
I don't know. Maybe it is an attempt to speak Spanish. I think we do it through the military, right? Through recruiting. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It's hard to fight that sort of inner biology, I would call it, that is just so drawn towards that male figure. And
you mean the orange one in the girdle and the high heels with makeup? Mm-hmm. That guy?
Yeah. There's something about, he's tall, he's strong, he says what's on his mind.
Oh, God. Okay. Paul in Seattle, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Paul.
Yes, good morning, Steph. I would like to make an important observation here that this pending ruling to overturn a woman's right to privacy in reproductive choice, can't say the A word, this ruling is not a repeal of democratic liberalism. It is a repeal of what the Republican Party of the era of Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan used to be. Because in the cases, both Casey and Roe, in Casey, all 5 justices that upheld Roe were Republican appointees.
Yeah.
And
so stop with this argument that Democrats have gone to the left. This entire Republican Party, including Republican appointed justices, are off the rails to the right.
Heritage Foundation.
These are, this is not the total affirmations, Republican appointee affirmations for Roe, including this decision, 11. All combined dissents against Roe, 10. This is just the Republicans.
Yeah.
11 Republican justices affirming Roe, including John Roberts, if this decision goes the way we expect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean...